It is easy to believe scorpions are just rare desert pests, until you meet Arizona homeowners who find 5 or even 10 scorpions crawling indoors every single night. That is not a nightmare. It is everyday life in the state with the highest concentration of venomous scorpions in North America. But why are these ancient predators thriving as people move in? And what are Arizonans missing about the real danger inside their own homes? The answer is far more unsettling than anyone tells newcomers, and it all starts with the comforting myth that scorpions only live out there in the wild. For many newcomers, Arizona's desert feels like a place of wide-open beauty and manageable risks. Real estate brochures highlight sunshine, mountain views, and the promise of a laid-back lifestyle. The most common warning is about the heat, not the wildlife. At open houses, realtors field questions about pool maintenance and school districts, rarely about what might be hiding behind the baseboards. The idea that scorpions could be a real problem barely crosses the mind of someone moving in from out of state. There is a kind of cultural shorthand. Scorpions are thought of as rare, almost mythical creatures, like tumbleweeds or coyotes glimpsed at the edge of a hiking trail. Even long-time residents often describe them as a desert oddity, something you might spot once in a blue moon, far from the comfort of home. This belief quietly shapes daily routines. Shoes are left by the door, beds are made without a second thought, and children play barefoot on cool tile floors. The conversation around scorpions, if it happens at all, is usually a passing joke, something to tell friends back east, not a real concern. The assumption is simple: scorpions belong out there. In the wild, not here inside the house. Yet this comfortable myth leaves a blind spot. It sets up a gap between perception and reality that few are prepared for when the truth finally appears, often literally underfoot. Night after night, the same ritual repeats in neighborhoods across Arizona. Porch lights flicker on, and homeowners step outside, ultraviolet flashlights in hand. The blue glow sweeps across block walls, patio furniture, even children's toys left in the yard. In this world, a seasoned resident like Chad Fitzgerald has learned not just to expect scorpions, but to plan for them. He moves slowly, eyes scanning for the telltale neon shine. On an average evening, he counts 5 to 10 bark scorpions, sometimes more, crawling along the walls, wedged in cracks, or clinging upside down to the underside of patio tables. Each one is captured with tongs and dropped into a jar, a process so routine it barely interrupts the quiet of the night. This is not a dramatic battle, but a matter of maintenance. Families adjust their habits in small, persistent ways. Shoes are shaken out before slipping them on. Beds are pulled away from the walls. Cribs stand on glass jars to keep tiny claws from gaining traction. Even the family dog learns to tread carefully. Over time, these practices become second nature, woven into the rhythm of daily life. Yet the frequency of these encounters is never quite normal. The act of counting scorpions by the dozen is a reminder that the boundary between desert and home has blurred. Residents talk about their nightly hunts the way others might discuss watering the lawn or checking the mail. The desert's most resilient predator is no longer a distant threat. It's a fixture, managed, but never gone. A blacklight sweep begins just after sunset in a Mesa apartment complex. The ultraviolet beam passes over stucco walls, tree trunks, and the edges of a rooftop, searching for the faint, electric blue glow only scorpions produce. Within the first minutes, the count starts to climb. 1, then 3, then a cluster of 5 wedged together in the corner of a patio wall. The resident keeps a tally on her phone, hands shaking as she nudges each scorpion into a plastic container with long tongs. By the time half an hour passes, she has captured nearly 40. Some are nestled in cracks beside an air conditioning unit. Others cling to the underside of a garden hose reel. A few scurry up the exterior of a second-story balcony, their movement revealed only by the unnatural fluorescence under ultraviolet light. The method is simple: sweep slowly, keep the beam steady, and check every shadow. Scorpions fluoresce. Under ultraviolet wavelengths around 365 nanometers, making them stand out even against rough concrete or bark. The process exposes what daylight never does: a hidden population that shares the building with its human residents. Each specimen is counted aloud, the number rising with every sweep along the block wall or the base of a palm tree. The final tally, just shy of 40 in a single session, leaves no room for doubt about the scale of the problem. For the resident, the experience is more than unsettling. The sheer number, gathered in so little time, turns the idea of an occasional desert visitor into something else entirely. The evidence glows in the dark, undeniable and impossible to ignore, raising questions about how many more remain hidden inside walls, attics, or beneath the floorboards. Centruroides sculpturatus, the Arizona bark scorpion, stands apart from its desert relatives in ways that matter most for anyone living nearby. At first glance, it's unassuming, slender, pale yellow tan, and rarely more than 3 inches long. But this species carries a distinction unmatched by any other scorpion in the United States. It is the only scorpion with venom potent enough to threaten human life. While most North American scorpions deliver a sting that feels like a bee or wasp, the bark scorpion's neurotoxin can trigger paralysis, convulsions, and in rare cases, death, especially in children, the elderly, or those with compromised immune systems. Its danger does not end with chemistry. The bark scorpion is a master of adaptation. Unlike bulkier species that hug the ground, this scorpion can climb vertical surfaces with ease. Block walls, stucco, even ceilings become thoroughfares. It slips through cracks as thin as a credit card, turning the architecture of a suburban home into a network of passageways. Where other scorpions might hide under rocks, the bark scorpion takes to the walls, the attic, and sometimes the bed frame. Arachnologists often compare its survival skills to those of a whale in the ocean, highly specialized, perfectly tuned to its environment, and able to thrive where others cannot. The bark scorpion can survive a year without food, waiting out drought or pest control treatments in a state of near hibernation. Its nocturnal habits and ability to fluoresce under ultraviolet light add another layer of elusiveness, making it nearly invisible by day and only revealed by the right kind of search at night. For Arizona residents, this combination of lethal potential, agility, and stealth means the risk is not theoretical. The bark scorpion is not just another desert creature, it is an apex survivor, perfectly suited to the spaces where people live and sleep. A child's scream at 2 a.m. sends a family rushing to the emergency room. In Arizona, this scene unfolds thousands of times each year, especially during the summer surge. The Arizona Poison and Drug Information Center fields a spike in calls from July through August, peak season for bark scorpion stings. Most victims are children, their smaller bodies unable to buffer the venom's effects. A single sting can trigger intense pain, muscle twitching, drooling, vomiting, and in severe cases, respiratory distress. Pediatricians describe the symptoms as unmistakable: eyes darting uncontrollably, limbs jerking, and a face frozen in terror. Dr. Emily Sanchez, an emergency physician in Phoenix, recalls nights when the waiting room fills with anxious parents clutching toddlers. She lists the classic signs: high-pitched crying, sweating, and a sudden inability to swallow. For the youngest patients, the risk escalates quickly. While adults may weather a sting with little more than pain and numbness, children can deteriorate in minutes. Antivenom, developed specifically for bark scorpion venom, is kept on hand in local hospitals. The treatment works fast, but the window is narrow. Nurses monitor vital signs, ready to intervene if breathing falters. Parents describe the ordeal as a blur of fear and helplessness. One mother remembers her son's lips turning blue before the antivenom took hold. Another father recounts the confusion of waking to a child's cries, only to find a scorpion tangled in the bedsheets. Emergency room staff brace for the seasonal influx, knowing that each case brings its own uncertainty. Arizona's medical community has adapted to the scorpion threat, yet the crisis never feels routine. Even with antivenom and experience, every sting carries the possibility of tragedy. In the heat of summer, the line between home and hazard grows thin, and for families across the state, the danger is never theoretical. Arizona's sprawling neighborhoods, with their manicured lawns and block walls, were never designed for scorpions. Yet every new development, every patch of green grass and drip-irrigated flowerbed offers these predators a perfect foothold. Urban ecologists point out that the very features meant to make the desert livable for people, lush landscaping, backyard pools, and shady patios, also create cool, damp microclimates that scorpions seek out. Block walls and decorative rocks mimic the crevices and shelter of their native environment, while irrigation systems keep prey insects thriving, offering an endless food supply. The push for chemical safety has added another layer. In 2001, the EPA banned many of the organophosphate pesticides that once kept scorpion populations in check. What replaced them are less toxic to humans, but also less effective against resilient arthropods like the bark scorpion. Pest control companies now admit that no amount of spraying can truly clear a neighborhood. Scorpions have adapted to survive long stretches without food or water, sometimes up to a year, waiting out both drought and pesticide treatments in the deepest cracks of a wall or beneath a cool slab. Their bodies are flat enough to slip through gaps as thin as a credit card, allowing them to move effortlessly between outdoor hiding spots and the interiors of homes. Urban ecologists warn that these creatures are not just survivors, but opportunists. Every new home, every extension of suburban sprawl, expands their empire. The paradox is clear. The more people try to tame the desert, the more they invite its most ancient predators inside. The result is a landscape where the line between human comfort and scorpion habitat is erased, and the balance tips ever further in favor of the scorpions. A technician stands in the living room, thermal camera in hand, as a family gathers nearby. The device hums softly, scanning the drywall, tracing along the baseboards and electrical outlets. On the monitor, ordinary surfaces dissolve into a shifting map of heat signatures. Suddenly, a cluster of glowing shapes appears, dozens of scorpions packed tightly together, invisible to the naked eye. The operator moves to the next room. The numbers climb. Behind a child's bedroom wall, the camera reveals another dense patch, each scorpion radiating a faint warmth. The family stares in disbelief. What felt like the occasional intruder is exposed as a hidden colony, hundreds deep, living within the structure itself. The technician explains that bark scorpions slip into wall voids, attic spaces, and beneath floorboards, sometimes gathering in groups of 50 or more. Thermal imaging does not just confirm their presence. It shatters the illusion of safety. For this family, the scale of the invasion is no longer a rumor or a neighbor's story. It is a reality measured in numbers too large to ignore, unfolding in real time on a screen no one ever wanted to watch. Pest control vans roll through Arizona neighborhoods every morning, their logos promising peace of mind. But the message on the paperwork has changed. The contracts no longer guarantee a scorpion-free home. Instead, they offer suppression, a word that admits the enemy is here to stay. One technician, sleeves rolled up and clipboard in hand, levels with the family gathered on their porch. He says we can knock the numbers down, but we cannot wipe them out, not here. He explains how the service now means regular treatments and ongoing monitoring, not a one-time fix. The scorpions, he says, always find a way back, slipping through cracks, hiding deep in walls, waiting out the chemicals. The technician describes homes where he has sprayed for years, yet the sightings never fully stop. His honesty is blunt. He says if someone promises elimination, they are not telling you the truth. The company's website echoes the same language: suppression, reduction, management. For Arizona homeowners, this is the new normal. The fight is no longer about winning. It is about holding the line, month after month, against a neighbor that never really leaves. In Arizona's housing market, the paperwork is thick with disclosures, flood zones, lead paint, roof repairs. But when it comes to scorpions, the silence is deafening. State law requires sellers to disclose material facts, yet the definition leaves plenty of room for interpretation. A real estate agent, when pressed, admits that scorpion history rarely makes it onto official documents. She says if you ask, she will tell you what she knows. But there is no box to check for scorpions, and most people do not bring it up. The no box is a practical blind spot. The omission is not accidental. It is a quiet understanding that some details are better left unspoken. Agents point to the difficulty of proof. Scorpions come and go, and a home can seem clear one week, only to swarm the next. Buyers, especially those new to Arizona, rarely know the right questions to ask. The result is a culture of resignation. Long-time residents shrug off the risk, chalking it up to desert living, while newcomers inherit the problem without warning. The myth of safety persists, even as the evidence piles up in jars and in blacklight sweeps. In the end, the scorpion crisis remains hidden in plain sight, not by accident, but by design. The danger is not just underfoot, it is embedded in the way the story of Arizona living is sold. Right now, Arizona's most venomous scorpions slip through cracks not just in our homes, but in our assumptions about safety and control. Survival here means vigilance, not victory. The line between our world and theirs is thinner and more negotiable than we want to believe. Share your story or thoughts below.